In this video, I'm going to be sharing 6 things that you should know about the Ninja Foodi Smart Grill. So let's get started. Number 1, counter space. You may want to check the dimensions of your counter space before you buy the Ninja Foodi Smart Grill. The dimensions on the website are shown as 14 inches wide, 11 inches high, and 17 inches in depth. However, the depth doesn't take into account when the hood is open. So once you open the hood and then you measure the depth, it's actually 21 inches. So you may want to check your counter space to make sure it's not going to be right on the edge of it or even hanging off the counter. Number 2, storing the Ninja parts. While the magnetic housing unit for the thermometer was smartly designed so that it could be kept with the appliance, you can't store both the grill grate and the air crisper basket in the unit. Even if you try flipping them upside down. So since you can only store one inside the unit, you're going to need to find another storage place to store the other part. Number 3, scratches on the cooking pot. Now when I first saw the scratch on my non-stick ceramic cooking pot, I was so gutted and I couldn't understand how I had even managed to scratch it. And then I realized more than likely it was the grill grate. The bottom of the grill grate has quite sharp edges, and if you can see, they are a little scratched too. So as you're inserting the grill grate, it's likely hitting against the cooking pot, causing it to scratch. So that's something you may want to watch out for. Whereas if you take a look at the edges on the crisper basket, they're nice and smooth. So more than likely it was the grill grate that caused the scratch on the cooking pot. Number 4, the grease collector. So at the back of the unit, you have the air vents and a nice little grease collector, or it's supposed to be a grease collector, but instead it seems to be just collecting dust. So what's happening is, rather than the grease going into this grease collector, it's being collected in the middle of my counter and backsplash. If you can see here, it's turned all yellow, and that's where all the grease has gone. So you may want to give the area behind your unit a good clean as well to make sure that there's no grease buildup there, making it harder to remove later on. Number 5, the flip sign. The Ninja Foodi Smart Grill only displays the flip sign for the grill and the roast function, but not for the air fry function, which is a little disappointing because I find almost anything that I air fry needs to be flipped. So I always have to make sure I remember to flip the food halfway. And finally, number 6, cleaning the Ninja Foodi Smart Grill. While the Ninja Foodi Grill cooks really well and produces wonderful food, it's definitely a pain to clean. First, let's take a look under the hood here. You'll have the clip which holds the splatter shield. That will need a good clean. But also behind the heating element, right underneath the hood, there's no way to get under there to clean that. And I usually just use a damp cloth and try and squeeze my finger in there to clean as much as I can. And you can see that the heating element is screwed in, but you definitely don't want to open that in case you void the warranty. Moving on to the splatter shield. But what the instructions do recommend is to put the splatter shield in hot water and boil it for 10 minutes. And you can definitely see all the grease starting to lift. And by the way, if you are new to my channel, do consider subscribing, as I do love to review home products and kitchen appliances. So this was just after 10 minutes. Run some cold water on it so that I can touch it. And I could see that it had loosened a lot of the grease, but it still needed a good scrub. I used some regular Dawn liquid to scrub it all off. But you can see that it's still not as clean. So then I decided to use the Dawn Power Wash. I really had to give it a good scrub. And you can see that it's definitely made a big difference. The only thing now is that all of the bits have gotten trapped in the middle of the mesh. So right on the So if you can see, there's so many bits stuck in there now. So if I try and use the brush to take them out, it's still really hard to do. And then I tried using the brush to see if I could push it through to come out on the other side of the mesh, but again, it was just a pain to do. So this is the result of hand washing it and letting it air dry. It's clean, but it's definitely got a lot of bits stuck in the middle, like I said, and it's just hard for me to get out. So I'm going to pop it in the dishwasher and see if I can get it to maybe power wash it out. But unfortunately, after running it through the dishwasher, this is what it looked like. And again, unfortunately, everything is still stuck inside the mesh, and that's just the hardest challenge for me. If anyone does have any tips on how to get the splatter shield clean, then feel free to share them in the comments below. And these were just some of the things that I found that I wanted to share about the Ninja Foodi Grill. If anybody else has anything else to share, also feel free to do that in the comments below. In the meantime, if you did find this video useful, please don't forget to give it a like, and I hope to catch you in my next video.